Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, part of Education Week. Today's webinar is the Share Data Pack, so Unlocking Simple Fund 360's Full Potential. My name is Rocco Agostino. I'm one of the account managers at BGL, been at BGL for roughly 11 years, so it is an honour and a pleasure to be delivering this content to you this afternoon. Basically, having seen Simple Fund evolve from a desktop product to now a cloud product in all its glory, it's fantastic to be here and showcasing one of the key features in Simple Fund 360 when it comes to gaining efficiency. I'd like to welcome everyone again, especially those that I've seen gone through the list of attendees. There's a few people there that have attended most of our webinars as well. So we started strong yesterday with three webinars of building foundations of your SMSF knowledge, setting up funds, uncovering real-time analytical insights. And before, Norman delivered a fantastic webinar on the BGL Bank Data Service and other ways of automating your data entry. And that brings us to today, the service that complements the Bank Data Service, the Share Data Pack. So we've got the webinars there, all listed there. The reason I've put this slide up is just to let everyone know what's coming up. So the one in yellow is the one we're doing today. But if you cannot make the remaining webinars, we still encourage you to register. Basically, what that will allow you to do, it will allow you to receive a recording once the webinar is concluded, so you can watch that in your own time and you don't miss out. So we encourage you to still register, and they're the ones that are left there as well. Especially tomorrow's one, if you have, or the one after this, sorry, if you've attended bank data and you're attending this one, next one is vitally important as well, because they're all interlinked and it completes this, the circle there for you. Just a few housekeeping things before we're scheduled to start. So basically what I've done this afternoon, I've placed all attendees on listen only mode. Reason for that is just to ensure that everybody has the ability to hear me clearly without any background disturbances at all throughout today's webinar. In saying that, communication channels are open. In your Zoom toolbox there, or toolkit, you have a Q&A icon. You can use that to communicate with myself, and I've got another 8 colleagues online which are there to answer your questions should you have any throughout the session. Feel free to ask questions throughout the session, but we will have roughly 10 minutes at the end to go through questions in great detail should you have them at the end as well. The webinar is being recorded, so it's fantastic. So you will receive a copy of this webinar at the conclusion of today's webinar as well. And also the webinar will be posted on the BGL community and a YouTube channel in due course as well. Just today's content, this will be the last slide, so I'm not going to bore everyone with slides. So basically today's content, what we want to talk about is what is the Share Data Pack? Then we will look at supported brokers and registries. We'll look at the transaction import and review, so what transactions look like when they come through the Share Data Pack. We will look at the Share Data Pack and bank data working together. So I've got a simple example to show you how both services complement each other. Where the service comes into its own, the Share Data Pack is basically storing the contract note in the document screen, which is fantastic, it's expected, but we also file the contract note in the accounting work paper. So again, some efficiency there, not having to collate everything at year end and rush to get everything done. We'll look at that as well. We'll look at the registry data service and the benefits of that. And then we have a very special screen known as the balance review screen and how that can help you gain some more efficiencies as well. But while we're going through today's content, just think about, how am I processing my buys and sells? That client that has millions every day, how am I obtaining the document? How am I getting the data in? How long is it taking me to get that data in? Just think about all these things. Then we've also, once we start talking about the registry data service, how do you guys compare holding balances at year end? What is a process that you think about, that you go through at year end? Just think about what you're doing and have a look on screen and see how you can implement this service to gain efficiencies and save time. So what we're trying to do with today's webinar is introduce the service, see where we can gain efficiencies, and obviously when we gain efficiencies, we can focus our time more on other important things as well, like compliance and stuff like that. So, as I said, that was the last slide. Let's begin our journey into Simple Fund 360. that one. So before I get started, the Share Data Pack has evolved from being established in our Simple Fund desktop solution. So we've got Anthony Costa on the line here listening in. He was basically one of the main contributors to the original Share Data Pack. So kudos to him for coming up with such a great solution. So basically it's evolved from being in Simple Fund desktop to Simple Fund 360. But what we've done in Simple Fund 360, as I mentioned, has made it more efficient using those documents to basically provide a better service to you guys there as well. What I want to touch on first is basically another element of our Education Week. We're not only here to educate you on services and products within the software that can help you, we've also got products which provide you support along the way. So we've invested a lot in our support, documentation and services as well. So as you may be aware, we've got the little help icon here, which allows you to search our knowledge center and find a whole heap of documentation that the team has written up to help you as well. If you haven't done so and you wish to do so, some of the notes that will complement today's content can be found on the Knowledge Center. So we've got, for example, the contract notes page, so supported brokers page, which we'll look at in a moment, and the registry data help file as well, which will complement, as I said, today's content. What we also have is live chat support and phone support as well, unlimited. It's included in your subscription, so you would not be expected to pay anything to access these features. They are there for your benefit, so definitely take advantage of them. Live chat is quite good, one of my favorite ones. Basically, you will receive a response within 30 to 40 seconds of putting in a request for a live chat in there. So very quick. Or you've got the traditional support method there where you can log a support call and request an email or phone call back. What we also have on top of that is we have the BGL Learning Channel. Why I like the Learning Channel is it will keep you up to date with the latest features in Simple Fund 360, but it's quite powerful when it comes to onboarding new staff onto Simple Fund 360. So you've got all the comprehensive training courses on there and modules which target specific areas in the software. So a must for new users or even experienced users just to polish up their knowledge. So that is also included in your Simple Fund 360 subscription. So you're not required to pay for that. Each user has their own access to the to the Learning Channel as well. So highly encourage you to use that one. Just the next help or assistance or module that we have is the BGL Community. So the community is quite strong. So basically, it's for like-minded individuals to share ideas, share thoughts, share processes on how to do things. So we can see here on the community, we have the BHP demerger merger with Woodside Petroleum. There is, I'll just click into it. We've got a whole heap of people sharing their ideas, sharing thoughts, basically solving their own problems and solutions here as well. So another avenue for support as well, should you wish to use it. This is also complimentary to join. There is no fee to join. You're more than welcome to join and start using, commenting and sharing your ideas on here as well. Together, we're more powerful together. So we encourage you to sign up to that. And lastly, what we have is everyone's favorite, YouTube. I know Anthony Costa watches cat videos on here as well. So what we've done here is we've got all our video content is on YouTube. So as I mentioned, this webinar will be on here at some point as well, but you can see we've got best practice webinars, we've got tips and tricks all on here as well, and our partner webinars, for example. So if you're using one of our partners in our ecosystem, how to best leverage that relationship that BGL has with them there as well. So they've got a full list of 134 partner recordings there. So definitely look at the YouTube channel. It is powerful as well, and it can be used to unlock some potential in Simple Fund 360 as well. All right, let's go back to what we're all here to talk about this afternoon, which is the Share Data Pack. But before I get into the nitty-gritty of the Share Data Pack, I want to debunk one of the main mistakes that people make. They think the Share Data Pack is the your investments, your listed investments, market prices, and income data. I just want to debunk that right now. It is not that. So what most people confuse it with, just to make it clear, is investment security list. Most people confuse the Share Data Pack being these prices here on screen once they load. So basically, it is not this. This is included in your subscription in Simple Fund 360. So I just want to make this clear from the onset. The Share Data Pack is not your listed investment market prices. Completely different. So what is the Share Data Pack? So basically what the Share Data Pack is, it comprises of two different services, which I will showcase this afternoon. So the first one is the contract note service. So the contract note service is a service that allows you to automate your buys and sells from Australian brokers. So I'll flick it to the help file. We have 163 brokers that we do support. How do we get to 163 brokers? It's with your help. Basically, and Anthony Costa on the line would remember, we started with 20 brokers when the service was initially released. It has now grown to 163, as I said. But that growth was with your help. So as you can see here, if you go through this article, supported brokers, and you can't find the broker that your client is using, feel free to email it to us. We can add the broker for you quite quickly. All we need from you is a buy and sell contract note, and we can add it to the service. So if it's not there, don't panic. We can add it for you very quickly. There might be a few little intricacies involved and backwards and forwards with you, but if you're willing to help, we can get it there for you very quickly. The other part of the service is the registry data service. So what BGL does, or Simple Fund 360 does, we link with ComputerShare, Link Market, and Boardroom to basically pull through your holding balances for every quarter. So again, as I said at the start, think about how do you get these balances every quarter? How are you obtaining them for your clients? Basically, Simple Fund 360, every quarter, we'll do a request automatically without you having to do anything and get the balances from these three registries. So again, it's in this help file there. Okay, let's have a look at the contract note service first as part of the Share Data Pack. So to set one up for your fund is very easy. Actually, before I do go into the setup, the next very important thing is that the Share Data Pack is an add-on to Simple Fund 360. So there's an additional fee for it. It is $40 plus GST per fund, and you need to purchase a minimum of 5 funds to start off. And after that, it's in increments of 1. If you're wondering, after this webinar, how do I sign up for the service? It's very easy. I'll just quickly show you. So what you need to do, it's very easy. So you would go into the app switcher, click into My BGL. You may not have access to this. It depends on the access that your admin, Simple Fund admin, has given you. But if you do, click on My BGL. It will take you into My BGL. What you would simply do is go into products. And all you need to do is, I don't have the Share Data Pack here. Simply click on Upgrade. Simple Fund 360 Share Data Pack add-on. Get price, pay for the service, and you will have instant access to it once you've made payment. Very easy to sign up if you need to. And just the last thing before we get into nitty-gritty as well, before I forget, is if you are a Simple Invest 360 user, so if you are managing your trusts, companies, or individuals through Simple Invest, everything we're covering this afternoon is transferable to Simple Invest as well. So we're killing 2 birds with 1 stone. If you are not using Simple Invest and you wish to find out more about Simple Invest, simply contact your account manager and we'll be more than happy to give you a trial and even a demonstration of the software. All right, so back to the Share Data Pack. So to open up the Share Data Pack, we simply go to Connect and Feed Management. So we're sort of covering what Norman went through earlier in the feed management screen, but our focus isn't going to be on bank feeds. It's going to be on the Share Data Pack. So it will take you into this screen, into the entity summary. It will give you a summary of feeds available for this fund to be set up. So we've got the contract note service. So remember at the start, I said the Share Data Pack comprises of 2 services, the contract notes and registry data. We'll focus on contract notes for now. So very easy. We simply click on Setup. Now, the way the Share Data Pack works, or the contract note service works, is once you've set this up, the fund will be issued with what we call a unique email address. That unique email address is what the service is based on. So basically, Each fund will have its own unique email address. The client will then need to provide that email address to their broker, and the broker will forward the contract notes to that email address, in turn importing them into Simple Fund 360. So it's all automated, given that the broker will email the contract notes to the fund. But part of the setup is the software will generate that email address for you. All you need to do is click on Setup, as I've done. Click on Select. We'll select our broker. So I select ComSec. Let's say E-Trade, just as two examples. Then we have forward all emails to. What this function is used for is to notify the individual whose email address is input in that the trade has occurred, and send a copy of the contract notes to that individual as well. So some brokers only allow or only have the ability to send contract notes to one email address. If that is the case, you simply put your client's email address in there, and we will forward the email address. We will forward the contract notes to that email address for you. I will leave that blank. But the important part here is producing a set of instructions which you will need to send to your clients, and they will need to action on their end. So we'll click on instructions. What will happen is a set of instructions will generate for me. Just drag them down from my other screen. So because I've selected two brokers, I get two sets of instructions. I'll just drag this down from my other screen. There we go. And we have the unique email address generated there for us, which is unique to the fund. And then the set of instructions that your client will need to do to advise ComSec of the new email address. So very important you pass this on to your clients. So once you've printed out your instructions or downloaded your instructions, we've also got a cover letter which you can use to accompany those instructions, which is fully editable as well. But we won't use that this afternoon. We will click on Save. And that is the contract note service set up and ready to go. So all we're waiting on now is for your client to obviously trade, and for that trade to be sent by the broker to Simple Fund 360. Common question that I get at this stage is, how do I get my history of prior trade? So obviously we're 26 days into the new financial year. Let's say your client has already traded. How do I get 26 days worth of trades into the software? It's very easy. So the holder of the original contract note can simply forward the contract notes to this email address there very easily. So basically, whoever holds the contract note can send them to this email address to backfill, to basically get the history in. And then once it's up to date, so let's assume your client is quite up to date and will log into ComSec straight away. Let's say they log in today. From today onwards, the trades will come from ComSec automatically into the software. So you can backfill your data just by simply emailing the original contract notes to this unique email address. Just a few little tips and tricks, or just a few nuggets that I like to give in all my web demonstrations is what you can do is, if you want a bit of oversight on what's going on with your funds, under advanced options, we have something called BGL contract notes. And what this will do is it will take you to a dedicated contract notes website, which I think is quite powerful if you want to have that extra oversight. So what we can do is we can click on email log. And this will keep a track of all emails sent to your contract note subscription and to which funds as well. So you can see here, there's an email sent to my fund, SF360. So you can see, if you want to see what was sent, you simply click in and you can see what was sent. So this one, nothing was sent. But in this one, if I click on my one, you can see the contract notes that were sent, some that have failed. There's a fail message there, and it will tell you what the issue is so it can be addressed. So it's all in this particular page. What we also have is under contract notes. I like this page, particularly like it, is we give you a nice summary of what's been received by the fund. So we break it all down for you on this particular page. So if you want a bit more, like, as I said, oversight, this is quite powerful. So you can see it. I can open up the second fund and I can see that in the second fund as well. It's a lot more data than my one. But you can basically see all of that, and you can export this profit and loss format in CSV. So you can basically bring all this through in CSV if you need to reconcile it elsewhere. So quite powerful. A lot of people don't see that little button in there, but you can see this through there. Okay, let's go back. Let's assume clients provided the email address to the broker, the contract notes have been imported. What does it all look like once it comes into Simple Fund 360? So I'll just switch across to my fund. Go into accounting. So once it comes into Simple Fund 360, it will look something like this. You will get a little paperclip icon next to each transaction. What that is telling us is that transactions come from the contract note service and a document has been attached, which being the contract note has been attached to a particular transaction. For those with a keen eye, we've got 3 auto-matched transactions. These type in with this, this ties in with what Norman went through earlier in his webinar with the bank data service. So we've got the bank side, which has come through here. And then we've got our disposal of 2,000 BHP units, which has come through. The system is intuitive enough to automatically match those transactions there for you. Also, what the system has done, we've got the purchase, done the same thing. We've got a credit against our bank and a debit against our investment account. It's imported that in and automatically matched that up there for us. So you can see how both services work together. And these are transactions that you won't have to touch. It's all done automatically in the background. The beauty of the contract note service as well is this fund didn't have to hold BHP shares on the 6th of July, 2021. Because what will happen is the system will pick up, okay, you've purchased BHP shares, the account doesn't exist. We will create that account there for you automatically and import the initial buy for you. So again, streamline the process. You're not having to create accounts. They're automatically created in the background. Just a few little bits and pieces with regards to this. I'll focus on the sell transactions. I get a lot of questions about this one as well. Is how does the system know what disposal method to use? So we're automating the sales, which is fantastic, but does it know most tax effective, least tax effective, first in, first out, last in, first out? How does it know what to use? So if you are setting up the contract note service, again, this is just another little tip or trick to take note, is under fund and fund details. And because it's down the bottom, not many people know it's here. We have CGT treatment, default disposal method. You can set the default disposal method from your fund details based on what is in this little box is the method that the system will use when it's processing automated disposals. And you can change this anytime as well. So just keep that in mind if you are looking at implementing this. This is important just to ensure your automated disposals use the correct disposal method. So just to show you, I'll unmatch this transaction just to show what it would look like if it was unmatched. And if I just go to unmatched. So we can see we've got, from Norman's webinar, we've got the bank side coming through and we have the contract note side coming through. The system is intuitive enough, as I said, to pick this up and match it all together for you. I've just broken it, but let's say if you've done that, another little trick is you can tick both, click on match and match them up from there as well. Just another little trick there for you. It's gone from auto match to manually match because I've manually done that, but just another little trick there for you. Just something else that I'll touch on is if you have multiple buys and sells that occur on the same day and are done via the same bank entry, the system is also intuitive enough to match those multiple buys and sells together and match them up to the corresponding bank entry as well. I've taken a simple approach this afternoon and just done buy and sell separately, just not to confuse people. But if there are multiple buys and sells on the same day, they can be combined into one entry there as well. Okay, so that's fantastic. That's what the contract note service is doing in the background there for us. But that's not where the benefit stops. We've got that contract note, as I said at the start. How can we use that document to streamline the process when it comes to collating the reports at year end? So as most of us would know, under reports, we have work papers. So this Thursday, Emily will be going through work papers. So if you haven't registered for the work papers webinar, I highly recommend it because Emily will go through this in a lot more detail. I've only got 2 minutes or so to spend on this one. But if you are interested in work papers, again, this is included in the software. There's no additional fee for this. It is part of the subscription. Definitely attend the webinar if you're looking at utilizing Simple Fund 360's accounting work papers. But the reason I want to show you this afternoon is in our accounting work paper here, we've got shares in listed companies Australian. which I can expand. And as you can see, BHP has the contract notes attached there for us. How efficient was that? Didn't have to do anything. It's all automatic and done for me. Car sales, contract notes attached there for me. Fortescue Metals, the contract note is attached there for me. So again, you can start to see the efficiency, not scrambling at your end to try and find these documents. Where's that email? I need to search the emails from Rocco. Oh no, he hasn't sent it. I need to call, I need to email Rocco. Rocco, can you email me your contract notes? Don't have to do that. They're already here for you. Save yourself a lot of time. Very easy. So again, another lot of efficiency gained here by implementing the contract note service. Just to complete the picture, we've got a new document screen, which is quite powerful. So we go into documents. And we can see the contract notes all here. They're even tagged automatically for us because they've come from the contract notes website. So you can filter by tag if you wish to do so as well. So they're all in there. So I can say contract notes apply. And I can see all the contract notes that have come through have been tagged and have been filed in my funds document screen. So you've got a document management system here as well, incorporated into Simple Fund 360. So again, quite powerful. They're all filed away there for you. So they're also all filed away under 776, as you can see. So we group them. So we know where the document belongs and we group it. If you want to go even further, you can put them in their specific investment account as well. I haven't gone on, probably it's gone. Yeah, the software's gone to that extent for me. Again, it's very smart, and basically upload them under the BHP account. So you can basically go down to a granular level when you're managing your documents as well. So again, very powerful. And you don't have to do anything. It's all automatic. All you've done is set up the service, transaction with the document comes in, and you can unlock these benefits. Okay, so that's the contract note service in a nutshell. The secondary service, as I mentioned, is the registry data service, which complements the contract note service. So just something I like to let you know is I've worked with a lot of clients. They set up the contract note service, but don't do the registry data service or set that up. Or they set up the registry data service and not the contract note service. Both are part of the Share Data Pack. So both are covered by that $40 plus GST fee. So you set up one, why not set up the other? It's there, set it up. So what we will do is I'll show you the registry data. So still under Connect and Feed Management. And I'll just flick it across to my other fund. And what we want to do is we want to click on Setup. And what this will do is it will bring through all the listed investments within my particular fund. And this is one of the easiest services to set up in Simple Fund 360. So I don't know why you wouldn't set this up. And obviously the benefits speak for themselves. But basically, all you need to do is put in the HIN or SRN number, very easy. So whatever it may be, and the postcode. Oops. 2000, apply to all. Just bear with me. I know this may not be an appropriate example, but you can apply that to all, and off you go. If holdings have have multiple SRN or HIN numbers, yeah, we support that too. So go for your life, type them in, add, keep adding them until you've covered them all. And then simply hit on save. And that's it, that service is set up. It's feed operating instantaneously because what we're doing is we're connecting with the registry and retrieving the last 4 quarters of information that is on file with them. So we've connected with them now. The data will be there within 30 seconds or so. So where do we see this data? Very easy. So just go back into my fund. There is a special screen under investments known as balance review. I think it's a quite powerful screen, especially when it's coming to do year end and sending the fund to audit. You simply click on balance review. So what we do on this screen, the balance review screen, again, very powerful screen. Whenever you're obtaining third-party data from a party, basically what this screen will do is it will bring through the balance amount as per that party versus what is in Simple Fund 360 and tell you if there's a variance or not. So this is not the registry data at this stage. This is because I've got an ANZ bank account, which Norman set up earlier as part of his bank data webinar. And what we do from bank feeds is we get a bank balance every day, and then we match the bank balance in Simple Fund 360 for you and give you a variance or not. And it can be seen through this particular screen. If we have a wrap feed set up with these managed investments and listed trusts, we've got the data from the wrap provider. If it's a Macquarie wrap, Colonial, whatever it may be, MLC, we get the data from that third-party provider. We will put it in this screen and we will do a comparison with Simple Fund 360 for you. Very powerful. But what I covered earlier was the registry data service. So as we can see here, it's basically picked up the data from ComputerShare and Link and basically done a comparison for me. So I can see 4 skew metals at 30 June 2022. Matches, great, tick. Car sales, matches, great, tick. BHP, doesn't match. We've got a bit of a variance between ComputerShare and Simple Fund 360. That tells us there's 27 less units in Simple Fund 360. So that already highlights a problem that we need to go back and check. Have we processed a sell? When we were doing the backfill of the data, will all the contract notes processed? As someone manually processed something when we started putting through the data, just starts to get you thinking. Again, you can sort of see how quickly I've pulled this data through. I didn't have to tap into ComputerShare or Link Market, have multiple screens going. This data was there, ready for me to go at year end to process this. But it doesn't end there. The screen is very, very powerful. Basically, you can filter it by feed provider. Let's say, for example, I want to see all my holdings in with all my shares that are listed on the ComputerShare registry. I can flick it to ComputerShare and I can see. Okay, great, fantastic. I can do it by holding reference that I've got as well. But this is where it becomes powerful. I only want to see the variances. I only want to see what I need to address. So you can turn variance on, and anything that is matching disappears, and you can only see the ones that need pending action. You can toggle it on if there's a registered name. Again, this is not real data, but yeah, you can see the registered name comes through as well. So if you want to match them, see the registered name. Zero balances. If you have zero balances for specific investments, so you can turn those on, and these ones here will come through. So we've got Commonwealth Bank of Australia, basically zero balance. They don't have any balance in Simple Fund 360. So we just hide that automatically there for you. And the beauty about this screen is you can export the current view or export a full report. So basically, very easy. You've got the data, tailor the screen by the toggles, and export this to Excel. There's a few questions about the auditor. If the auditor can see any of this, definitely, if you invite your auditor into Simple Fund 360, they can have access to the screen, so it can form part of their audit process if need be. The work papers as well. You can invite the auditor in, they'll have access to those work papers as well. The document screen I showed you, they will have access to that document screen. So everything, if you're starting to think about the auditor, that's fantastic. So already starting to think of how all this works in the whole scheme of things, fantastic. The auditor will have access if you invite them in. So that concludes the content that we had scheduled to cover this afternoon. But hopefully I've shown you how this service can gain efficiency, and you could basically implement this and see how you go and see where the efficiencies are to be gained. So what we're trying to do with this service is eliminate data entry and handling of documents and paperwork. We're trying to be efficient from a data entry perspective and managing those documents. So when it comes to year end, you're not having to chase up your clients or your clients for data or documents. We're automating that entire process with this package here as well. Right, we'll go back to slideshow. And as I said at the start, we've also got the BGL Community, which I think is a great feature. Sign up, see what others are thinking, and you're more than welcome to share your thoughts, because as I said, we're stronger together. As a group, we can improve the user experience for everyone. So there might be something that you think you're a bit hesitant to put on there. Put it on there. Someone else might be thinking about it. You saw the BHP and Woodside Petroleum one, big hit. Put it on there. Share your thoughts on how you've managed that with your particular funds as well. So it's there. The link is there to join. You can join at any time. And again, there is no cost to join. It is complimentary, and we'd love to see you on there. All right, I'll end the session there. There's a few other questions, but I know email addresses have been supplied for questions that couldn't be answered by today's session. Definitely take advantage of the good nature of my colleagues there, and they will assist you with those queries. For those that have stayed for the full 50 minutes there, I want to thank you, sincerely thank you for staying for the full 50 minutes. And we hope to see you in all the remaining Education Week webinars. So again, I thank you, sincerely thank you, and I hope you have a fantastic day. We hope to see you soon.